I want to hear from different voices. I don't want to just hear from people that agree with me. We're about to dive into some even deeper topics. Ask a Brother Podcast.
Ask a Brother Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Ask a Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff St. James. You know, the revolution is going to be because of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special announcement. Thanks to Chicago's very own DJ the Money Coach, we're celebrating the sponsorship for Ask a Brother podcast and the grand opening of our luxurious resort in Zanzibar, Tanzania. DJ's giving away an incredible grand prize in March, a 7-day, 6-night stay in paradise, complete with ground transportation, incredible excursions, your own personal chef on the white sand beaches, and breathtaking sunsets. All you have to do is text BROTHA, B-R-O-T-H-A, to 972-640-9572, or scan the QR code for your chance to win. Pack your bags and we will see you in paradise. Again, text BROTHA, B-R-O-T-H-A, to 972-640-9572.
Yeah. What's going on? Today is my final interview for the week. And shout out to everybody that's been supporting Ask a Brother podcast, man. It was an incredible week. We had some big guests on from Liam Out Loud. We had the Ugly Money pull up. And I just checked my phone and we're at 26,000 views over the last 3 days. So shout out to everybody that came to support. I know this is a surprise interview that you all aren't even aware of. But thanks everybody for all the support with the brand and the channel. A few couple announcements real quick, and then I'm going to jump straight into the interview of today's guest as well. Number one, thank you to our sponsor for that video, from Escape Zanzibar to Duransburg, people in DJ the Money Coach. Thank you for that sponsor. Please make sure that if you replay that, feel free to text the number to try to enter in for the sweepstakes and get more information about their packages and on their travel expenses and how they work. Excellent organization. They actually have stuff both in Zanzibar and some additional properties over in DR if you're interested in checking them out. And please sure to let them know that Ask Her Brother sent you for sure. Number two, we are now, after about close to 14 months of doing this work, we are now officially at 49,031 subscribers. I just checked that not too long ago. And thank you, Mrs. Plum, absolutely, for putting a number in the chat. But listen, guys, although I didn't get a chance to announce this particular interview, those easy ways you can help support, make sure you like the stream, make sure you comment and let me know that you're watching, and always send it to 2, 3, 4, even 5 people for sure. My last few announcements. Money Club. Movie book club is on Mondays every week, Mondays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, Mrs. Plum, and everybody that's, I'm seeing some people that's pulling in. Shout out to Noah, always consistent, my man. I see who else. What's going on, Luke? Hey, what's going on, Unc? Hey, what's going on, man? And Mauricio, appreciate you. So yeah, man, thanks everybody for tuning in. That last interview, the last couple interviews I've had have been phenomenal. They've been great. They've been very, very, very eye-opening. What's going on, Grace? And then thank you, Mrs. Plum, for the link. Our movie book club has been off to a great start. We have double-digit people that's a part of this virtual community. We just knocked out The Matrix. We actually just finished last week reviewing and discussing The Truman Show, and we are now heading towards this Monday, starting to talk about Lovecraft Country. And I've actually never seen it before. And some of the people in the group was saying it'll include it. You got to see Lovecraft Country. So I'm going to be checking it out this weekend to prep and get ready for that. And then on Tuesdays, we have the Men's Self-Improvement virtual group as well. And we've been rocking with that since either November or December so far. And the group is growing. It's expanding. Men are starting to network within. We're challenging each other. We're posting videos in our WhatsApp in terms of us just working together. So super excited. So, thank you everybody that supported the brand. If you're a subscriber, if you're a member, if you watched, if you hyped any of my stuff, if you've loved it, if you secretly hated it, but you still watched, the likes, the watches, the comments, all of it still counts and contributes to the algorithm for sure. I probably will be making an announcement in regards to myself and a couple individuals in this space. Probably Monday. Probably Monday for sure. Just to kind of clear the air and make it known where things stand with me and certain other content creators and those that I'm totally cool with and those who I'll just leave that for another day, another time. So last but not least, man, again, if you're not currently a subscriber, please make sure that you become one. And thank you, Mrs. Plum, again for the school, the the men's conclave. So many different things are popping up, additional projects and things that we're working on. Again, I've made all these announcements before, so I'm honestly not going to waste much more time. So I see that about another 20 to 25 people just joined since I last made this announcement. Feel free to like. Please feel free to become a subscriber if you're not, and make sure that you send to 2, 3, 4, even 5 people. And if you are interested in politics, if you are interested in political affairs, this is the type of conversation that I'm highly going to recommend you guys tune in for. So if you enjoy the conversation, feel free to hit that super chat button. Feel free to send me a comment or remark or something if you have any questions or things that you want me to run by today's guest for sure. So yeah, man. Yeah, shout out you, Noah. Yeah, man. This is one of those where sometimes it happens where, like, well, Ugly Money, I never announced it. I just went live, and the same thing happens today. And again, I'm going to let y'all know I have a surprise guest for next week. He is an actor, and there's the potential that a lawyer maybe that's very well known in these YouTubian streets may be stopping by on Ask a Brother pretty soon, if not this week, potentially as soon as next week. I'm going to be following up with him to kind of confirm that and lock both those dates in for sure. So more than likely, we're going to have back-to-back surprise guests next week and the following week as well. And I might even have a nurse practitioner be able to stop by as well. So again, this is the spot and space, open ideas, open concepts, different ideas, different perspectives, different viewpoints. This is a space where we're just going to be open-minded and allow people to speak and be true to themselves. And it's a space where people are allowed to do it. A lot of our lives and in the way that life and social media is set up, everybody's in bubbles. People aren't allowed to speak or talk about certain things. Not on Ask a Brother. Ask a Brother is a spot where we want to make it almost free range for people to cover almost anything and everything. Of course, there's a couple things that follow the YouTubian rules, but outside of that, man, it's been an honor to see all the guests that have pulled up, that have shown support to this brand new platform. And guys, I just checked last night. We cleared 50. Sorry, not 50. Oh, that'd be crazy. We just cleared 5 million views for our first 14 months. So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. 5 million channel views on Instagram officially as of yesterday, man. And when I started this journey last January, I didn't think it would happen this fast, but it's been cool. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't always been super fun. It's been a little, contentious here and there, but by and large, 90 to 95% of the people who I've connected with have shown love, shown support, and have helped to build this platform up to what it's turning into. And I'm excited about all the additional people that are lining up and getting ready to come through. And when I say that eventually we're going to have more actors, more politicians, we may even have some current or even former mayors making it to Ask a Brother podcast before the end of this year. So I'm telling you, man, 5 million views. We're nearing and getting close to 50,000 subscribers. It's only been 14 months, man. I'm like, imagine what we can do by the end of this year. So this is exciting, man. So thanks everybody genuinely that's been showing love and support to the channel, the brand. Like I mean it when I say like this was a dream of mine, and I'm honored to continue to do this type of work. All right, y'all. So with that said, now it's time to get to the juicy stuff, because when it comes to doing interviews, y'all not tuning in for me. Y'all want me to get to the guests for why it is that I would think that they would be a really good person here. So this particular person, man, she's cleared over 40,000 plus followers on Instagram alone. I've seen her on different platforms. She's constantly showing up on my algorithm. She'd be going viral. I'd be like, yo, who is this chick? And the more I listened to her, the more I realized how much so many things that I was thinking and wrestling and wondering with in my late teens and early 20s, hearing her and many others like her start to really explain it and normalize where I'm at on the political space. Even if I functionally still identify as an independent, but the fact that she's willing to stand on business, I'm like, this, y'all going to be in for a treat. So she is an outspoken Christian, a pro-Black conservative. We're going to talk about that. A mother and an entrepreneur, and she is here today on Ask a Brother podcast for the first time. So please help me welcome to the stage and to the Ask a Brother podcast platform for the first time ever, Miss #Maryanne. What's going on, madam?
Hello. Oh my goodness.
Hey. Well, hey,
I'm from
welcome.
Brooklyn, so that hits different. That's
Oh,
very yes.
Hey, welcome. I really appreciate you
Thank
coming through
you.
and pulling up. And before I even get to ask you any questions or to introduce yourself to the audience, y'all, if y'all hit that $ super chat button, this is not the time to be stingy to close out the week because somebody already started it off right. Shout out to my guy, was it New Texas Realty? Appreciate you, good brother, for the $50 to keep me getting these conversations going, man. I absolutely love it. I absolutely appreciate the love. I appreciate the support, man. And thank you genuinely. So, guys, if you're already a member of the channel, you do not have to hit the super chat button, but I'm not going to block you. If you're a member of our channel, it's $2.99 to be a monthly member. And a lot more people over the last month or two since I've started mentioning and reminding people are starting to become members. And again, there's even ways in which you can gift memberships to other people if you don't want to do super chats. So thanks, everybody. And now let's get to the interview. So for starters, welcome again. And
Thank you.
can you start with at least telling people a little bit about how you got into politics and how you segued into then becoming a content creator?
Yeah. I mean, I would honestly say that I'm not even like into politics, right? People consistently beg me to run for some type of local office. They actually are in my DMs, in my comments, begging me to run.
You need
I
to, but we'll
am
address that another time.
Well, I'm a person that believes you can do more good outside of the system than, choked by it. So I prefer to be a free agent, if you will, so that I can speak more freely. Of course, so to answer your question, for those who don't know me, my name is Marien, #Marien on all the platforms. And as he mentioned, I'm a Christian, pro-Black conservative. So Christian pro-Black conservatives. The way that I started kind of focusing on politics and just talking about it in general on my, page was honestly growing closer to God and then getting into the Bible, realizing how much of what the Lord says goes directly against what the Democrat Party pushes. And then lump in with that 2020, the vaccine, me flat out refusing to take it, flat out refusing to give it to my daughter, and feeling that instant shift from the left where they told me, 4 months ago, it was my body, my choice. And then now it's, well, you suck for making that choice and we're going to vilify you and we're going to hate you, out loud. So, ever since then, I would say 2020 was a big eye-opening moment for me. I started to, crazy enough, the same people, I used to be a huge liberal. So the same people that I used to hate, the Candace Owens, the Charlie Kirks of the world, I started to actually see their content coming up on my algorithm. And it was in agreement with what I was seeing and what I was noticing as far as, just the vaccine and the way that the President Biden at the time and the overall left was pushing that. And I'm like, man, do I agree with Candace Owens? Like, what?
It's crazy, right? And what's wild is I was already struggling with a lot of this stuff as early as like 2014. That was when I voted for Obama. Definitely. And then
Didn't we all?
I had the t-shirts, the hashtags, like all that jazz, man. I was deep in the weeds. I was, just out there and donating time and doing so much. And, I have been going through this personally, individually for a while. But when 2020 happened, that's when mentally I finally realized I can't be me and be authentic if I keep pretending that what I'm seeing in the side that I've been supporting for so long isn't evil, isn't bad. And it wasn't because I ran to the Republicans, believe it or not. It was just more so like I had to be honest with myself. And so much of what I was, like you said, was noticing was like, this is authoritarian. This is not democracy. I'm like, this is a threat to democracy. And it was all stuff people I would have normally voted for was doing. And it was like, so wait, honestly, I'm a big proponent of freedom of speech, but everybody that's speaking out about what's happening during 2020 is now getting deplatformed and canceled. And I'm like, this is not what classical liberalism is about to me. So, I went down that rabbit hole too. And It seems like 2020 was the big shift for like a lot of content creators right now, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, you mentioned, your views of like becoming more conservative and how that kind of shapes how you view a lot of this stuff. So let's start with dating and politics. Does politics impact the dating market and relationships? And two, do Black men specifically like or prefer liberal or more conservative women, from your opinion? Listen,
So
hold on, because I'm asking you the juicy stuff to start off. We might as well get hit the ground running.
right, let's just rip off every band-aid. Let me say it like this. It's like politics should impact dating way more than people allow it to, in my opinion. A lot of the issues that we see in marriages, especially that end up breaking down, it's because the two people were not aligned and should have had these deeper conversations, especially when it comes to the concept of conservatism that is promoting traditional values, right? Promoting a more man first as far as leadership in the household. And if you are a conservative man and you date that liberal woman, that's going to be a point of contention in your relationship at some point. And oftentimes it ends up being a point of contention every single day, because now, she needs to fight you for control over everything. She needs to have her voice be heard, or whatever it is. She needs to feel like she matters for everything. So I think that now it's definitely impacting people because people are more mindful about it. And that's a good thing, right? Like, be more mindful. Don't just go out and date her because she's cute. Don't just date him because he has money. Make sure that you guys align as far as values. Now, as far as what men prefer, I mean, look, if you took my DMs as any type of indicator, I would definitely say that.
She's saying that the men is out for the conservative women. So ladies, there is another method despite popular belief. All men, and I'm gonna, and the reason why I asked you this question specifically is because I think that's this misconception is a lot of ladies say they have to do all the things the crowd or the majority, or not just a large body of women are doing on social media. They gotta be free flowing, show everything, display everything. And I'm like, the guys that are typically drawn to that, it's usually just for the sex. And it's not, a lot of them, it's not for long term. And the wild thing is, I always ask them, what's the percentage of the ladies that's moving and carrying themselves way and thinks it's cool that actually end up with the desired outcome relationally with men?
Exactly.
I'm
and
like,
even look at the, I talk about this all the time. Look at the front runners of this conversation, right? Your celebrities that are super liberal. So Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, women of that nature. It's like, do you actually want any of their relationship lives, right? Like,
especially
when
experience.
you're honest, they're never happy. They are constantly screaming, unless the ones that are just lying about it. Like, look at Beyonce. She had y'all screaming single ladies while she went home to her husband, right?
Listen, man, I just told y'all this is why she's here. So another 25 plus people have joined since I last said it. So guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't let me know that you're here, feel free to put a 1 in the chat, or just say hey to make sure I'm aware that you're in the building. Feel free to like. Please make sure that you subscribe to all of her different platforms, which we'll be going over at the end for sure. And then lastly, don't be afraid of that super chat button, y'all, and become a member of the platform and channel if you have not done so for sure. Listen, I don't know what it is about seeing people and listening to people who don't get 80% of what you would really want in a relationship, but y'all treat it like they're y'all pastors. And I'm like, why? Like, why is their word gospel? And I'm like, I'm trying to explain to ladies, men that want to provide, men that are very ambitious, men that have a lot of the traits you're talking about, they don't want the scallywag situation that's
They don't want no
embarrassing.
hoes. They don't.
They don't. And it's like, if you do, it's a side situation, right? Like, it's not
Exactly.
Oh my God. So next super chat, man. Tristan Smith, appreciate you for the 1999, sir. He writes, conservative black men retired military here in Nebraska. I went on 2 dates with liberal women within the last 6 months. After 30 minutes of conversation, I was socially exhausted in both occasions. I am done. I am done. I am done. I've been telling gentlemen on this platform, you can't guarantee anything in terms of relationships between men and women, but you absolutely can increase your chances for it working out by avoiding dealing with women who do divorce parties.
Oh.
Right? You could, and shout out to K Warren, man. He said I subscribe to her Facebook channel. Yeah, man. If like I said, when everybody comes in, make sure that y'all show love. Make sure y'all subscribe and follow these people's platforms for sure. But I'm gonna segue into something different that recently just came up, and I thought, I'm not gonna give my thoughts first. Jesse Jackson.
Well, let me just say one quick thing because I didn't really answer your question. I want to make something specifically clear about why conservative men prefer conservative women, right? Or why men in general are preferring conservative women. What has happened in our society is there has been such a false shift, right? Where this narrative of women wanting to be empowered, women wanting to be the most important one, and I am the prize and all of that. That's what is the veil in front of many relationships. But if you dissect that, one thing that I constantly point out, if women did not want to submit to their man, then erotic novels like 50 Shades of Grey would never be as popular as they are. Okay. No one talks about this, but the fact is, when you look at what women are consuming, when you look at what women fantasize about, they go right back to traditional values and to these concepts of submission to a man. And it is almost always, even 50 Shades of Grey is a perfect example, because that whole book is about a very rich man taking care of a woman. And by the end of the series, she's pregnant and barefoot with his babies happily. Right? So we're pretending like women want so much power in their relationships, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a, contributing member of society. And if you have a voice, or if you have, a passion or a talent, being able to pursue that. But when we talk about what women want in their homes, what they're being told to look for versus what they actually want down the line are completely separate. And when men look for something, they're still looking in a traditional mindset, whereas women have been shifted into this feminism mindset that is just not what we actually want.
Yeah. It's one of the wildest things to see. And Dr. Orion was on last week, Orion Taraban, and the psychologist, and he was just kind of alluding to the fact that, like, a lot of times ladies' behaviors simply don't match their words with what they claim to want versus what we see their dating tracker record is. And a lot of times, and what I have noticed is they tend to start preferring the quote unquote conservative guys after 30. After 30.
Yeah. I'm in my 30s. I will definitely say I'm very grateful that I woke up. And but the reality of being a it girl, a hot girl, hot girl summer, blah, 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 like that fades so quickly. And it's not, and let's be honest, let's be totally honest here. The simp that you can get while you're being a hot girl is never the man you really want to marry. That's
she cooking. Audience, if y'all are rocking with her, if y'all agree with her, when you are at your worst, when you are at your wildest, when you are at your most immature, and probably, I would even argue least healed, the man that's willing to tolerate and accept all of that, including the disrespect and including not factoring in his feelings or his image, that man, when your values change as a woman, you realize you're not actually attracted to those men. You actually don't want
Bingo. Exactly. That's exactly it.
Crazy. So the next question I wanted to ask you about was Jesse Jackson's funeral. There were a few people in attendance, right? And former presidents and vice president. And I guess my initial view was Jesse Jackson Jr. had a lot to say about the request for them to not turn it and make it about politics. Unfortunately, that wasn't what some of the speakers who got up, that did speak on the family and Jesse's behalf, they took it as an opportunity to kind of shoot shots at Donald Trump and talk about everything else but damn Jesse. I felt like they talked way more about Trump than they did the man that was in the casket.
Exactly.
What did you think about that in terms of the Democrats that were invited and welcome to speak, in contrast to Trump, who spoke, separately in reference to Jesse? What did you think about those two dichotomy?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all. I really wasn't, watching them behave in the way that they're just prone to behaving. If you look at the State of the Union, we had Ilhan Omar yelling, screaming at the president from while he's on stage giving the State of the Union. We had Al Green with a sign, right? So it's just, my frustration with it is, these people are supposed to be the example. And when they give the example of completely disregarding authority, completely disrespecting the leader of the country, then we cannot wonder why we're seeing people be shot and killed by ICE agents, right? We cannot wonder why you have people here in New York picking up huge slabs of ice, literal ice, and throwing them at, authority figures. We can't wonder why people get pulled over by the cops, and instead of just complying and saying, okay, here's my, information, they're arguing with them, and then that's escalating into a deadly situation. We are seeing, and this is something that I'm going to make a video about this, but I went to, longest name ever, the New York State Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislators Caucus. Here in New York City.
That mean they ain't get no policies passed. That's what that means. They ain't get no policies.
They're just too busy figuring out who else needs to be included. It's too much.
How do you cook for that meal? Please tell me how you cook for that meal. Come on, we're continue.
But so I went to that, and they had a mayoral forum where all of the Black and brown mayors of the different cities in New York were there to speak. Every last one of them, and I'm going to make this video soon, every last one of them spoke about how they were going to fight against ICE. And you feel the crowd just getting galvanized, right? The crowd is like, yeah, we need to fight. We need to fight. And I'm like, these people are going to go home to nice little mansions. My Dami's going to go to his new, sleeping arrangements, because he finally gave up his little rent stabilized apartment he shouldn't have been in anyway. But these people do not care about you. And they don't care about what's going to happen to you if you threaten authority this aggressively. And they're telling you to do so for the benefit of people that are not even citizens, right? So when we look at what the Democrat Party is used to doing, they love to inflame their supporters. And what they use is what I call emotions politics. It's always emotions politics. I have to get you upset. I have to get you scared of something, fear mongering, because that way, you don't even care if I'm right or wrong. You feel like you want to agree with what I'm saying. So you dive straight in. You just agree with me. But for all of them to get up there at Jesse's funeral and use that as a platform to to disrespect the president it was a level of immaturity that is sad to see from that type of platform, honestly.
You said it earlier. It wasn't shocking.
Yeah.
It wasn't shocking. The things that I've seen over the last 2 years now, even going back to Butler, Pennsylvania, with the stray shot that hit Trump in the ear, and people saying, just a few more inches to the right. I'm like, I get it. The brainwashing, the propaganda, like you said, the manipulation that's convinced them to operate almost exclusively out of emotionalism. It's scary. But in a moment like that, for some reason in my head, I was like, all right, we're going to take a pause for a second. Nope. They really, really just went for the gutter. And shout out to Tristan Smith. Thank you again, bro, for the super chat. Thank you for the $9.99. He writes, they turned Reverend Jackson's funeral into a 3-hour political grandstanding event. And for people, there was a few people that said in the comments, like, well, why invite politicians then? It doesn't, if you are invited to something, at minimum, can you listen to the host?
No,
I've never heard.
truly.
I've never heard an excuse like that, which is like, well, why invite politicians if they can't talk about this or talk about that? If the family or the person that invited
It's a
you said,
funeral. It's a funeral. I don't even understand that question. It's
how
a funeral.
the lengths they'll go to justify any and every single insane
Exactly.
thing. Well, Trump said worse, or the Republicans. I'll be like, y'all are grown adults still doing the whataboutisms in 2025,
All the time.
2026. This is
All the time. It's
you
gross.
mentioned feminism earlier. In your honest opinion, what are the pros and cons, if we're going to be balanced, of what you think modern feminism is, or what feminism started to what it is now, in your opinion?
Yeah. See, you threw me off with the balanced thing, right? Because feminism is the least balanced movement in our, country's history outside of civil rights, right? So what feminism started as, and that's actually the video that I'm going to be dropping later on today, that I'm trying to force myself to edit right now. But what feminism started as, I agree with it wholeheartedly, right? Give women the opportunity to be functioning members of society, right? Not second-class citizens. So they should be allowed to own property. They should be allowed to, have a bank account, right? Now, the whole voting thing, I got to say, as a woman who votes,
I'm listening. Hold on, let me turn it up. Let me turn my headphones up. What you said?
Listen, I have to say, my friend Carmen Jace, you probably know who she is. She was on the podcast with me. She's fantastic. She wholeheartedly thinks that women should not vote. And at first I was really against it, but I'm not joking.
We ain't gonna skip over that. We ain't gonna skip over that. Tell me again what Carmen JC said, and then what you thought about her saying that.
Yeah, she doesn't think that women should vote, that women should just not have the right to vote. Men should be the ones voting and making the decisions in the country. Now, I am so on the fence with that, because when you look at how women vote, again, if we have a party that thrives on emotional attacks or thrives on building up emotions, and then you give the emotional sex the opportunity to make decisions that change the structure of the country, we have to then ask those serious questions. Like, is it smart to give a bunch of people the right to vote who are not going to vote based on anything other than, is this person attractive? Like, let's be honest, Obama got a lot of votes because he's Black, one, two, kind of cute, right? Like, he was hot he was young, he was, I'm so serious. A lot of women went out and voted for him because he was attractive. That's also something that is a rumor about JFK, that women just went out and voted for him because he was hot. And when I look at the way that women vote, and you look at the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party wholeheartedly holds the majority of female votes, and especially, minority females, and you look at the reasons why they're voting. If you talk to them about policy, and I'm someone that talks to people all the time. If you talk to them about policy, a lot of them don't even know what the policies are. You understand? They have no idea what these candidates are suggesting, what their ideas are, what their plans are. They quite literally either vote because it's a Democrat, so I'm voting all Democrat, or because someone like Mandami got up on screen and smiled, and that's all they needed to see. And then the other side of it is, I just need to tell you that I'm not Trump. If I tell you that I'm not Trump, then your emotions are going to immediately grasp onto me, because I'm, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So all of a sudden, that's all you need to know, is that I'm not Trump and I'm against Trump. And now you're emotionally whipped up and you're going to go vote for me. So when it comes to women, I, personally, this is my thing, and I'm going to make a video about this. I think every single person in this country should have to take a litmus test to be allowed to vote. I think that you should not vote just based on age. I think that you need to take a test that proves you know what the heck you're even voting for. You understand how this country works.
That you know who's running.
And you even know who's running. Do you know how many people, listen to me, Mayor Adams dropped off the ballot. He dropped out of the race something like 6 weeks before the election. They didn't have time to take his name off the ballot. Do you know he got like 10,000 votes? from a
I'm
bunch
not
of
shocked.
people
The, the,
not
the,
paying attention.
when Mom Donnie got in, that told me and let me know everything I needed to know about exactly what you're saying being accurate.
Yeah.
They
People are not paying attention. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's definitely flaws in every economic system and model for sure, including capitalism for sure. And there's definitely things that we can improve in this country and others. But this idea of running headfirst into socialism or even communism, it's one of the strangest things. And every time you're kind of hearing their explanations on the street of like, yeah, we need to be paying for this, and we want this, and we want free busing, and we want this type of grocery store, which closed down by the way after 2 weeks. It's wild to see like when you always hear, well, who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you do know the people that are richest enough to afford that can always just leave.
And they are. They are
Always
leaving
leave.
in
I'm
mass.
like,
They are
there's
leaving.
I think it's Starbucks or some major corporation is leaving Seattle right now, like their
That's crazy.
headquarters and moving down south to a red rural area. And I'm like, y'all, the Chicago Bears are at risk right now of
Yeah.
losing their team. And I'm like, if y'all don't wake up, I'm like, this is crazy, man. So you mentioned feminism.
To
Go
finish,
ahead.
yes. To finish what I was saying about feminism, because I apologize for getting sidetracked with the voting thing. But when it comes to the rights that were given to women originally, by and large, I'm okay with that overall.
Yeah.
However, what feminism very quickly, not even slowly, very quickly turned into was less about women's rights and more about men, like holding men back, right? And just hating on men. And so when you look at the even literature that was out during the 70s, 80s, etc., it's so based in this patriarchy and how much they need to hate the patriarchy. The reality of what has happened since then, right? We had the feminism started in the late 1800s, early, 1930s, etc., right? After we get, these core things, which are cool, whatever, women can vote, fine. Then it's instantly, well, I also want to be able to, do abortions, right? Like my body, my choice. That's in the 70s. Once you start telling women to devalue their own child to the point of extermination, you now have awakened this horrible evil, in my opinion, this very horrible evil that is sweeping through the female population. And if a man says, well, no, that's my child as well, now it's no, it's not my body, my choice. So we have that distinction and that separation that started happening. On top of it, you've got women just being told like, oh, you don't need a man. The government swoops in also saying, well, hey, if you don't have a man, I'll pay your bills. It's fine. Get him out the house. It's not a problem. And when we skip from then to now, a few of the statistics that I was looking at, back in the 70s, there were less than around 100,000 sex workers, prostitutes. Now there's over 1 million women doing some form of prostitution, right? Now we have something like 20% of children being raised in a nuclear family where mom and dad are, together raising children in the home.
In the Black family specifically, Black community specifically, yeah.
Yeah. No. That's across America. But just so you know, It's not just the Black community. Yep. It's not just the Black community. A lot of these white kids, a lot of Latinos, a lot of people are separated. A lot of people are growing up in separate homes. Absolutely. Now, the Black community is the worst offender of this, for sure. But this is a problem across the board. We have the marriage rate that plummeted from 80% down to 40%, and divorce rates skyrocketed after that. So what I believe when it comes to feminism, it was a juncture between the government wanting more money out of people, realizing that if they give women the right to vote and, the right to work, etc., they can tax you more. They can get you out of the home and get you away from your children, so that now your children are being raised by the government in schools and with the television, just, basically raising them until the parents can get home. And women have lost, honestly, a sense of purpose, because we've devalued the home and we've devalued the family. So now, what was naturally our purpose has now become a sidebar, if you will, a secondary option rather than a purpose. That's why you see, and I get so frustrated when I talk to feminists, because They're like, oh, well, all these women were so depressed and they were doing drugs. I'm like, y'all are doing drugs now.
Oh, they are on drugs as we speak, talking.
As we speak.
Now, crazy part is less stable relationships, less quality nuclear family dynamics. I'm like, everything that you're saying was so bad back then. I'm like, now you don't have the good things from back then, and y'all on meds anyway.
And you're on drugs anyway. You want to talk about grandma was a wino? You are quite literally microdosing before you even leave the house. Come on,
every brunch with the way they be now. Listen, I'd have been, and if any of y'all have never been to, if y'all have not been to a DC brunch with Black women, I'm gonna tell you right now, it is one of the greatest experiences. They gonna throw them back. They gonna throw the drinks back. They spend money like they drug dealers. But it's so true, because I was gonna ask you about sexual liberation, and you kind of basically hinted at it. It's like feminism and how it manifested, especially in terms of the sexual liberation movement. It's really costed us dearly. And
I mean, no, let's call it a spade a spade. It has cost us dearly, but the ones who won were men. The women got liberated to the point of liberally throwing ass. And I'm sorry to curse anyone from my church that's listening, but it's the best way for me to put it.
Listen, I said it before, and I said it on the Lady Sharing My Truth podcast, the ladies from Canada. I had said it that sexual liberation was a benefit to men at the top. I was like, there were men that I know whose body counts rival kings in medieval times.
Right?
Normal dudes, not celebrities, not athletes, nothing. Normal guys with body counts in the 300, 500.
Putting up Bible numbers like Solomon.
Hey. It's facts. It's facts. And then what a lot of the ladies have to show for it is all the things that we're seeing that's kind of messed up and broken in our society. And I'm like, you can't offer and allow so many men that wouldn't marry you or isn't interested in meeting your family or seeing you on Valentine's Day. If you're giving them so much access and then blaming men in the patriarchy, I was like, ma'am, it's not the patriarchy. It's your inability to control yourself. I'm like, we all make mistakes. We all have bad judgments, but I'm like, you can't be 30 dudes in deep still talking about the patriarchy. You clearly love the patriarchy.
You love it. And let's talk about that, because that's another one. And this is why I call them out, because if you don't like men, why are you always with a new one? If you don't
I need a new button. I need a new button, y'all. I need a new button, because it's like, why do you hate men, but then we find out your body count is in the triple digits?
It's crazy. And you hate them so much that you quite literally make them do absolutely nothing to have you. You think that, and that's the best. Look, I give credit where credit is due. Whatever person cooked this idea up, they did, like, good for you, boo-boo. I need to study this, because how did you convince women that the way to be free is to literally be available? How is that the win? Right?
I get to sleep, and if you talk to, and I don't gotta see your parents. I don't gotta.
You don't have to pay for the date, because now we're going 50-50. So you don't even have to pay for anything. You just have to be available and cute enough. That's literally what is happening these days. And sometimes not even cute enough if they're drunk enough. Like, let's be honest.
Homegirl, Jasmine Crockett. She recently lost her race. And I know that a lot of people were running to the internet, especially those who find themselves identify as supporters of hers and on the liberal side, were running to explanations of simply race and her being a woman for why she lost this race. Is there any other reasons you could think of for why Jasmine Crockett might have lost this race in Texas? Any other reasons?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly. She's just such a peaceful and well-rounded person. She never inflamed anybody. It's not like she lost the Hispanic vote because she told Hispanics that they were stupid for voting for Trump. It's not like she came out and made fun of them as the ICE raid started. It's not like she perpetually uses any platform she has to complain about how Trump supposedly only has anger and animosity towards the Black community, and then she had the nerve to be running in a red state.
And talking about she didn't need Trump support voters.
Okay.
Who says that? Who says, and let alone, you're not in a purple state. You're not in a clearly blue state. You are in Texas and saying you don't need Trump supporter vote.
The red state. The red state. You understand? We could probably go to Texas right now and find like 15 Trump tattoos just walking around.
I've never heard that in the history of my life. Running in a red state as a Democrat, saying you don't need supporters and talking down on voters that voted for Trump. I've never heard anything anywhere close to that. I'm
exactly.
Like, and the worst part was her policy was I'm not Trump. That's what she talked about every chance she got.
Yep.
My issue was what Kamala pandered into with what she brought on stage during her presidential rallies, meaning, Meg and Glorilla and all of that. Jasmine actually tried to live out in terms of stereotypes. The loud, unruly, obnoxious Black woman that is challenging and fighting the power, not accomplishing a damn thing.
Nothing.
And not what, like, to this day, they can't tell me in real time without looking it up on their phones what's one single policy that she's pushed for past that justifies why you love and support her to the way that you do. Nothing.
Exactly. Nothing. Again, emotional voters. And that's why again, if I had to lose the right to vote so that the majority of other women lose the right to vote, I'd probably be okay with it at this point. Because if you look, I'm not even joking. If you look at, if it were up to women in Texas, she probably would have won. You see what I'm saying? And she is a horrible, horrible pick. She is just an awful, awful, awful person. And like you said, her cosplaying some chick from the hood. It's like, you grew up in the suburbs, you're college educated, you've been in government for years now. Why are you all of a sudden giving this, hood persona? It's disrespectful, in my opinion. And it's really disrespectful to Black women. Like, we are not all like that. It's in fact, a very small amount of us are somewhat like that, right? So her loss was not surprising at all. And also we have to look at what her opponent did, because I never say his name right, Talarico. He did the exact opposite. He said, I'm actually going to support or work for everybody, right? Like, I am a Democrat, but I agree, I hear you moderates, I hear you independents, I hear you conservatives. I'm not anti-Trump. He wasn't super, polarizing like she is. So even though I don't like him either, and I do hope that neither one of them sees the light of day as far as getting any further, I absolutely understand why he won, because he actually pulled in the moderate, conservative, and independent vote that she just had no chance of winning.
Somebody said, Tristan Smith, man, I appreciate all the donations tonight. He said Jasmine Crockett is the Capitol Hill Cardi B. Bruh, like, it is embarrassing. And the reason is what I think why I'm frustrated with is when you get these opportunities, whether it's on a panel, whether it's on a major platform, or you're in an elected office position, all people need, if the government in the country is as racist as they all claim, why would you do things to increase the chances of them saying, let's not give another one of them another opportunity like this?
Exactly.
If the country is as evil and okay, I'm confused. And please explain this to me. If the country is as anti-Black and anti-woman as they claim, why would you select and let Black women of all people be the face of the party and running in elections? Don't you want to win? If they so racist, if they not ready, if you knew this, then why lose the election to prove that y'all was right?
I mean, it's the same group of people that claims there's so much racism and that America is so racist that we should let tens of millions of illegal migrants come here of other races and be subject to such vicious racism, right? They're fleeing whatever they're fleeing in their home country to come to this place with nooses hanging on every fucking tree. Like, it is it's insane to me when people perpetuate this idea of all this racism, especially Democrats, because every third Democrat is married to a white person. Like, if you
here she go. That's the other issue. Why is it that the people that are loudest about white supremacy sleeping with white supremacy?
Come on. You're absolutely enjoying that white supremacy behind closed doors, my friend. And it's absolutely
fighting it in the sheets and submitting to it in the sheets. I've never heard this before. I've never seen this before. It is stacked. And speaking of racism, Gavin Newsom, him, Joe Biden, the expectation of lowered expectations when it comes to how they want to relate with us, communicate with us, even engage with us politically, and never deliver on much tangible goods. Coming out as a Black conservative, what are your thoughts, A, about racism that's actually on the left amongst Democrats? And how have you been treated publicly coming out in terms of content creation as a Black conservative as it relates to racism? Have you been getting a lot of racism from white Republicans, from Black Republicans? Like, where is racism coming from you? And secondarily, the issue about racism that you see amongst the Democrats that often is ignored.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never in my life been called more slurs than once I came out as a Black conservative, Black, Trump supporter. I have never been called a bootlicker, a coon, a slave. My own godbrother called me a slave the other day. Yeah. Mind you, he's married to a white woman, but I digress. So what I have learned and what I have seen is
that is not funny.
It's laughable. It's so laughable. You're like, are you serious? Like, is this a serious conversation? You have the nerve, the gall. But what I've seen is, and let me be clear, there is racism on the right as well. I will never pretend that's not a thing, right? Because racism exists. It's just a real thing that exists in the world, right? It's not specific to the United States, and it's not specific to any party. The difference is, on the left, they have no idea that they're racist. And that's what amazes me. They don't realize that they are being the biggest racist of them all. When you assume that Black people are too stupid to get to be able to register to vote if they have to get their own birth certificate, that is racist, right?
We don't know how to work computers.
When you say that Black kids in the Bronx have never heard the word computer, not used one, I would have understood if she said they don't own a laptop at home. Sure, maybe. Never. They don't know what a computer is. In 2025, they didn't know what a computer is. The disrespect, and it's like, so if you look at people that go on to college campuses and they, canvas and they talk to people. There's one girl, I can't remember her name, but she's fantastic. She goes around just talking to kids, and she was talking about the voter registration thing. She's going up to each Black person on the campus saying, hey, do you have a valid ID? Do you have a valid state ID? Do you have a driver's license? All of them are like, yeah, of course. Talk to all the white people. Do you think that, Black people would have a harder time voting if this law changes? Yeah, because it's harder for them to get an ID. Who? Harder for who?
To
How?
Get on a plane, to
get food stamps.
Medicines. I'm like,
if you want to get your food stamps, you need that. If you want to get EBT, you need that. If you want to go to, a free clinic, you need an ID. And that's me saying that even if you're looking at it from a economic standpoint, right? Even then, poor people have IDs. And also to lump the Black community in with the impoverished community is also aggressively disrespectful, in my opinion. And that was one of the things that really started to shift me away from the Democrat Party, was realizing that every time they said they're going to do so much for Black people, what they really meant was some type of government assistance. And I'm like, well, that is not applicable to the majority of Black people. And it's also definitely not something that's only going to help the Black community, right? We know that Jewish people, white women, etc., are some of the biggest recipients of government assistance, and then illegal or migrants in general. So we kept getting scapegoated, not scapegoated, but kind of we're the face.
The whole nine. It was the civil rights. The second version of the civil rights that they've been pushing basically was a Trojan horse, where they kept telling Black people, support all these other groups in these policies, and you're going to reap the benefits of it on the other end. And of course, it's wild to see what you're describing is people that are sitting at a table at a restaurant, not getting the food that they ordered, and they're waiting to be served, but complaining about everybody else's menu of what type of quality food they can get. And I'm like, hold on, what you showed up here for? Are you even getting it? What are you actually getting?
That is such a good analogy, because I worked as a waitress.
You're showing up to the. In fact, they'll come to the restaurant with other people. They show up and other people plates is getting full. Everybody else is getting served. And then when the meal is over, everybody else ate. And you sitting there hungry and being like, oh yeah, next round. We got you next round. Next round.
And not even just that. It's like they come and then they're told to go in the back in the kitchen and help cook the food. Because we pay taxes. This is what pisses me off. I'm like, y'all forget that we pay taxes. It's not the government's money. That is our money. So you're telling me that, especially Black Americans who have been in this country damn near as long as white Americans, right? And I'm not getting into that conversation about the Native Americans being Black. We're not going to do that today. But my point is, I'm a Black American through and through. On both sides of my family, we have generations in this country, right? So my family has been paying taxes into this country for generations. And for them to turn around and use our tax dollars to support everyone but us and perpetually say that we should be giving them our votes while we're getting nothing is deeply disrespectful, extremely disrespectful. So I don't get it.
I mean, we do get it. We understand why. It's just unfortunate that someone can promise you a meal, not feed you, and you still get upset with what's on other people's plates. I'm like, bro, y'all worry about the wrong. Y'all will go out and I said this a couple weeks ago in regards to Black people continuing to allow themselves to be manipulated and used and taken advantage of. I said, hold on. If y'all found out how much money is being laundered and used, like you said, to be given to people who just got here to stay in hotels, to get food, to get vouchers, some of them to even get access to IDs, they're getting so much assistance on your dime. All this, the Minnesota fraud, we're finding out all these millions and billions of dollars being funneled to everybody but you. I said it before. If you gonna go out there and take your Black ass out there, at least go out there and get paid for it. Y'all got other protesters in other communities that's going out there getting funded and paid protesters, and your Black ass going out there to do it for free. I'm like, if you gonna be used, at least get paid for it. At least get paid for it. They're not even getting the money to go out to advocate for the thing that money's being going for other people for. And I'm like, this the kicker. Where are they shipping them to? Are they shipping them to the suburbs? Are they shipping them to
That's what I said.
Are they shipping them to the West State? Or are they shipping them repeatedly over and over and over and giving it? When they say this is a sanctuary city, that's code for our resources are going to go to non-normal, everyday American citizens. That's what that means. And I'm like, do y'all realize, like, I worked at a nonprofit for years, and there was a certain amount of our budget that we had 6-month-long waiting times for people to get access to our psychiatric services. We had a speedy process for people who were undocumented. And we had a budget for the city of Philadelphia.
That is one of the huge things that also perpetuated my starting to speak about this online. When I also was a member of I was actually a co-founder in a nonprofit, and we did clothing giveaways, right? And I started to look and realize, I'm like, wait a minute. We're inviting all of these other nonprofits that serve the community, telling them, hey, bring the people that you work with to this event so they can get some free clothing. I'm talking like 90% of the people coming are some type of migrant. And I'm like, But I'm talking to a bunch of organizations that are receiving our tax dollars, and it seems like the majority of the people that are being helped are migrants. Then I look at I had a thrift store for a moment last year, and this is in the midst of the sanctuary city, wrapping up. I'm helping people that are coming in. They want to buy, my clothing, and they don't know how to send a Zelle. So the man shows me his phone to like help him send the Zelle to me or send the Cash App, whatever. It was Zelle because I was able to see his bank account.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, $15,000 in EBT, $5,000 in cash assistance. And I'm like, I thought they were lying about these people getting $20,000 in EBT, but they're not lying. They were giving these folks bank cards, stipends, and I'm walking past Black and brown homeless people on the streets. When I saw Adams, Adams gets on a a news I can't think of the word right now, but he gets up to speak to the news, and he's like, we're asking if anyone can open their homes to some of the people that are coming here. I'm like, when did you ask for that for the homeless? When did you ask for that for anyone that's in a shelter currently? When did you ask for that type of help for single moms that need it? When did you ask for that type of help for New Yorkers, for Americans?
It did.
Never.
It did. Chicago,
And then somehow we are racist for pointing that out. Now we're bad guys.
Schools closing down and being reopened.
Yes.
Not for the neighborhood American the native born populate. I'm like, this is I appreciate you just normalizing. Like, I felt like we've been in bizarro world for the last 4 years now, where it's like 10 plus years ago. I think a lot of people who had first heard about DACA, we were like, oh, we feel kind of bad, like we understand. And then now it's like, oh, everybody's trying to use this as the means to try to get up in here and so that we have to keep them. So we have, and I was like, this is insane to me. And I appreciate the fact that you're finally pointing it out. And it's like the left has gotten really good at trying to character assassinate people who are critiquing this. So it's like, if you speak out on any of their talking points or political strategies, they have a ist or ism for you. You sexist, you racist, you xenophobe. It's always they keep coming
a bigot, a fascist. I've never been called a fascist more.
You know what? Speaking of fascism, as a Black independent conservative, like, what is your objective view, honestly, good and bad, of Donald Trump and what overall, and do you see significant evidence of what everybody on the left says in terms of him being a true racist?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So one, I just want to make sure I am a conservative. I'm like a full-blown MAGA conservative. Okay. So I'm not an independent, like okay. I am a full-blown conservative. I absolutely love Trump. I really do. I have liked Trump since before he ran for president. I only disliked him because the left told me to dislike him when they started spreading all of these lies about him being a racist, about him being, this misogynistic, like sexual assault pervert, et cetera, et cetera. But once I started to do my own research into him, I realized that he is one of the most genuine people that you're ever going to see. Right. If you look at what reporters say about him, just recently, there was a reporter that came out and said, Trump is one of the few presidents that actually takes direct calls from reporters in the Oval Office, and he'll talk to them and he'll answer their questions. He's not afraid of being honest and real. Hold
on, just because you told me, I see I need to put on my reporter hat to try to figure out how to make that happen. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's like, I just feel like, one, I'm from New York, right? So like, I'm also a New York City real estate agent. Right. I've been in the real estate industry for 8 years. Trump is what I try to remind people. Trump is a literal NYC OG. If you look at the realities of the fact that this man has been making millions and millions to billions of dollars in New York City, one of the most tough cities in the world. Of course, he's a little crass. Of course, he's a little rough around the edges. He is literally from here. Like, that's like asking, that's like asking 50 Cent to get up and be a politician and turn off all of that. Like, that's not who he is. So I like that he doesn't try to be a different person than who he actually is. And he is a very successful businessman. So he understands that you can't worry about what everyone thinks about you. You worry about the deal. You worry about getting things done. You can't stop and pacify everyone about their feelings. So for me, I'm like a full-blown Trump supporter. Like, I really, really like him. I hope to meet him someday. I think he's dope. Let me hear me when I say, I do not say that he is a perfect man.
Correct.
I will never say that. But I will say that he is doing, in my opinion, what needs to be done as far as reminding the world that we are the United States of America. And he is the president of F around and find out. And a lot of these other countries forgot that we are the world leading superpower. Him pulling out of the, World Health Organization, pulling out of who? People were so upset about that. And they're like, oh my gosh, he's doing. He said, no. We, the United States, we give the vast majority of funding to who? They don't respect us. When it came to COVID, they played us. That's why so many Americans died, because they didn't tell us the severity of the issue soon enough, right?
Yeah.
What are we getting from these things? And Trump has realized, and I love this about him, because once you realize that you are, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to give you, a terminology. The terminology is the biggest swinging, in the room. Once you realize, I can't say, I'm like, I've given too much to my church folks. I'm sorry. So I refused. But once you realize that's who you are, then you step into that. And a lot of people think that he's doing too much. I'm like, y'all don't understand. I think we should just take everybody. I think we should take Canada. I think we should take Mexico. I think we should take England. Take them.
Oh, wait a minute.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Oh my God.
What are they going to do? Genuine question. What are they going to do? Do you understand how big our military is? Do you understand how much spending we have into our armed forces? Do you understand how corrupt the Mexican government is in itself? Like, we could go in there and round up 6 drug dealers, and that will be half of their government. And then the people that are trying to jump the border don't even have to do it anymore because they're just Americans. Like,
yeah. So the Geek Surgeon, he wrote, Trump was best friends with Jesse Jackson. And this was a crazy thing for a lot of people who took the opportunity to approach Jesse's funeral the way that they did.
Right.
Trump did a lot of work with Jesse, a lot of business deals, and a lot of work behind the scenes. And he dropped a lot of money to support him in his run. And when you find out the stories between Tyson and him and countless other people, I'm like, he is the worst performing racist I know.
Ever. He's terrible at it.
He's terrible at racism because the sheer amount of things that he's done for other groups, including what he did with Mar-a-Lago in terms of having various different groups that were typically not allowed to be down. It's wild for me to see.
And
that.
let me
You're right.
Let me note on this.
Go ahead.
I just want to note on this because one of the things that people pulls about him and claiming that he's a racist is that he wasn't allowing Black families to rent in his buildings here, or Trump plazas, whatever. But as a realtor, let me tell you, I guarantee you Trump never, not one time, saw any of the applications for the people that were looking to move into his buildings. You understand? These high up landlords, they never see the application. You think Trump doing everything that he's doing back in the 90s, being a socialite, running multiple companies, he's sitting down and looking through someone's credit check? No, he has people for that. So if anything, you can blame the people. You can blame his, leasing team, but we cannot blame Trump for something that he quite literally did not actually personally do. That's all I'm saying about that. And those are like, it's the Central Park 5 thing, which I just watched a video that kind of blew my head open with this guy really breaking down that whole situation. And I got to say, I have to do more research, but it's a high likelihood that those men actually did that. So.
Oh. Oh,
Look
I
into it
haven't heard about
deeper
that
is
because
all
I
I'm gonna
watched the
say.
documentary. Yeah, I watched the
Don't watch
documentary.
the documentary. The documentary is skewed. That's the
Yeah,
problem. The
I
documentary
saw
wants you to
that.
believe one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then over time, talking with people and learning, I did find out, and Dave Anderson made a great point. At the time when it went down, everybody in New York thought these were the guys. Everybody, black,
Exactly.
white, Republican,
Exactly.
everybody wanted the book thrown at these guys. So to make it
Exactly.
seem, yeah, it was, yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, Lil 24. Thank you, sir, for the $20. Beautiful panel guest. She's single. Eyeballs. Salute, brother Jeff. I'm gonna tell you this, brother. All y'all that be giving all these compliments. Listen, I'm not saying I ain't got the haircut today, so I understand. But y'all, listen, I exist too. Y'all always talking about how good the guests are coming on these platforms. What about your brother, man? Listen, I appreciate you, brother, for the $20, and thanks everybody for the super chat. Wow, this is for a surprise interview. Y'all been showing love in terms of the interview. So, guys, if you're currently still watching, I only have 2 more questions left. Please make sure that you subscribe to my platform and hers as well when she shares at the end, as well as make sure that you like this particular video and send and share it to others as well. And thanks everybody that's a subscriber, a member. And if you're not a member, what are you waiting for? And thanks everybody that's tuning in, and feel free to share this type of conversation with at least 2, 3, 4, even 5 people for sure. So yeah, my final questions. For you, what are the biggest misconceptions about being a Black conservative woman?
That I'm not pro-Black.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest misconception. Is people assume conservative means super right-wing racist, right? And that's just not the case at all. I actually am a conservative because I care about the Black community, right? I'm a conservative because I know that conservative values are the best thing to heal the Black community. It's the same reason, not the same reason, but it's one of the big things that I love about Christianity and why I will continuously share my faith. And I firmly believe that the Black community will be better off when we come back to Christ and we come back to the conservative values that the Bible suggests, because we're lost. We are so lost. And the Democrat Party has been dragging us left and literally dragging us left off of the right path for quite some time, and we're getting nothing for it. You were laughing at something though.
Sorry. Well, thank you, bro, for the $10, man. Making me feel a little bit better. I appreciate you, good brother, for the additional amount, man. Yeah, you're so right, and it's wild. And what I've realized has happened is in the Black community, especially over the last, let's say, 20 to 30 years now, we've equated being Black with being Democrat, and it's like I asked them, were you born Black or were you born Democrat? And it takes them a second for them to realize it, because you talk and treat them as if they're interchangeable. And I said, as a result, anybody that doesn't line up with identifying with whatever the current thing that the Democrats could be running on something that they were running completely against 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And now that they're running on it now, the Democrats were known for closed borders, border
Hello.
enforcement, funding ICE. They were known for this. And to go from, and their argument was to protect the average middle-class American citizen. And now all of a sudden it's a human rights. And I'm like, y'all, I agree with you that in the conservative values, especially in terms of family formation, trying to get us back together, recognizing a hierarchy in terms of the nuclear family, all that stuff, the liberals want to eradicate all of that. And I'm like, that's the reason why we are as disfragmented as we are. And I'm like, it's because of that you're pro the Black community, and they can't see it.
No, they literally tell me it's an oxymoron, and I'm like, well, the funny thing is, we were conservatives up until the civil rights movement.
Yes.
That was it. And what frustrates me about that entire conversation is people look at a small sector of white people that left the Democrat Party and moved over to the Republican Party. What they don't factor in is, one, a Democrat president passed the civil rights movement simply because a Democrat president was the one that was in office when the civil rights movement was happening. Okay. It was not his movement. It was a movement that happened outside of office and had to be brought in front of whoever was the sitting president. Right. And then on top of that, again, we have the Senate and the House with both Republicans and Democrats. So Republicans by and large, voted in favor of civil rights because they needed those Republican votes for that to pass in the first place. So a tiny group of people shifted sides. The Democrats made a huge stink about that and made it seem like it was the entirety of white people. All of the white people, just ran over there because they're all racist all at once. And the reality is there was never this massive shift. And especially there was never a huge shift in values, right? Like we didn't instantly decide that we're not conservatives. We didn't suddenly decide that we don't care about the family. We don't care about God. We don't care about building businesses. We don't care about morals and self-respect. We didn't decide that. What we did was lump ourselves with the party that agreed to give us this particular thing. And they had us. And ever since then, they've been discarding us and discrediting us and ignoring us. And we just take it and we champion for them for God knows what reason. I don't know.
Final question. Your views about the modern church, especially the Black church, as it relates to their relationship in politics, and their level of relevancy in terms of culture currently.
Oh, man.
And also, even speaking to that, like, why do you think so many people, especially men in the community, have kind of abandoned and left the church? Did you hear about that thing with the 1,000 women showing up for the dating event at a church, and no men were showing up? Like, what's your thoughts about what's going on with the church, relationships, politics? Like, what is happening to the American church, especially the Black American church?
So I actually have a really personal understanding of this, because when I got closer to God, he literally told me to leave the church that I was at because it was a false church. And I did not realize it was because I had not actually sought a relationship with him. I had never read the Bible. I had never learned to fast and pray and, really seek understanding and wisdom. So once, I'll tell you specifically, I was streaming this day, thank God, because I would have had to physically walk out if I was in the house for that. But I was streaming, and the pastor gets up there and she just says, "Happy Pride Month, y'all," from the pulpit. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, right? Because it's one thing to be accepting and, not accepting, but to be welcoming. And it's another thing to celebrate something that God directly speaks against, right? I always say you cannot be pro something that God is against. You can love the person. You cannot promote the sin, right? So this is homosexuality. This is theft. This is cheating on your husband, your wife. This is intoxication, etc. Love the person that's doing that because God loves the person. But when you start to promote that particular sin, you now have become your own idol. That thing has become the idol. When we look at the Black church, especially in America, Blackness has become the idol, right? So many of these churches have made their identity in Christ basically their identity as a Black institution. And what they're giving to people, what they're feeding them is not the word of God. And I'm saying this like genuinely because I'll listen to these, pastors, etc. I'll hear what they're saying. It's not the word of God. It is whatever word gets them to the tithing, minimum that they're looking for. So when I found my church that I'm at now, my church is a Jamaican Apostolic Pentecostal church. Okay, like we
apostolic in the building. Okay, talking just church
all
stomping.
of it. Yes, with the evidence of speaking in tongues. Okay, baptized in Jesus' name. And when I found the church, I prayed heavily and I let the Lord lead me to this church. And I said, God, let me hear something today that confirms that they take you seriously, because that's all I care about. And my pastor got up there. And the first thing he said, he said, "I know y'all not gonna like this, but I need to remind you that some of y'all are going to hell." And I was like, oh
my. Well,
I love it. Like this is what we need, because there's so much affirmation happening in the Black church. There's so much coddling happening, right? And I genuinely fully, I blame the Black church a lot for what's happened within the Black community. I directly blame the Black church. My former church, one of the big things that scared me about them was that they were holding classes to teach people how to get into the cannabis industry as cannabis was being legalized in New York City. And so they took, hear this, they took the government, the worldly government, legalizing this as it's okay for us to promote it to the people of God.
To promote it within our community. Oh my, that's different.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so when we have these, we have these preachers and these pastors, one, they know that their flock is not actually reading the word of God. They know this. And you don't even hear them really, stress you about that. They'll get up, they'll preach from the same 7 or 8, feel good sermons. Blessed are those. They'll give you that. Yea, though I walk through the valley. They'll give you all of that, make you feel nice. But I always tell people, I'm like, you can't be Psalm, what is it? You can't expect Psalm 23 and 5 and skip over Psalm 23 and 3, right? Psalm 23 and 5, he prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23 and 3, he leads me in the paths of righteousness for your name's sake, right? People skip that because you don't want to be led. You don't want to be led in those paths of righteousness. The church has stopped preaching repentance. The church has stopped preaching surrender to God. And in my opinion, it has been, and when I say the Black church, I'm talking about the general, Black church of America, that heavily votes Democrat. Once that community, the Democrat Party, started promoting homosexuality, abortion, transgenderism, and lawlessness and, immorality, the Black church should have broken ties.
Yeah. And
it just didn't.
They've equated your faith with, again, Blackness, being a Democrat, and Christianity is now all used interchangeably.
Yep.
And I'm like, and they have yet to understand and wonder why more and more Black men stop going to church.
Yeah. It's really sad.
It's
really sad.
This is wild, man.
I'm telling people, and the worst part is, and this is the part that really frustrates me, because a lot of Black men stop going to church, but then a ton of Black men have become Hebrew Israelites. And so what's happening in that regard, why is that happening? Because that's one of the places where men are being told to still be masculine. This is one of the places where men are being told that they should be the leader of their home. This is one of the places that demands full submission from women. They even, say that men can have multiple wives, et cetera, et cetera. And it demands a level of self-discipline for men. So I dislike the Hebrew Israelites because I just don't like what they preach and their, their lies that they spread around. But I respect the men that are dedicated to that because they are just conservative men who have found the closest outlet to spirituality plus conservatism. They want to be Christians, in my opinion. This is, I tell them all the time, I'm like, y'all would be so useful for the body of Christ if you would just stop with these lies. Like, we need men like you who can, comfortably and without apologizing, stand up and be masculine and study the word of God and demand, that people align their lives with scripture, etc. The problem with them is that they pick the scriptures that they want to believe in and they ignore the vast majority of the rest of it. But seeing the rise of that faction confirms that, Black men are not looking to not be spiritual, right? They're not looking to not know God. They're just disappointed with the Black church. They're tired of walking into church and seeing women with their tightest, dresses on, more so dressed to go to brunch rather than to come to church. Let's tell the truth.
She cooking and
let's tell the truth.
What's wild is it's gotten to the point where the way that they treated Jesse's funeral is how they were treating church services during elections.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Rally for Democrats. And of course, what they run on is a combo of fear tactics and ignoring the harmful, toxic things ideologies that the party is pushing. Everything that you just listed, castrating and genital mutilation to children. What else? You said the abortion issue, the rampant, like you name it, across the board. Almost anything goes in the church now, excluding male leadership other than the pastor. and voting any way other than Democrat. Everything else is cool in the church, apparently. Everything
Yeah.
else. And I'm like, you're right. That there's the black church and what it's turned into. It explains why their populations are dwindling and why it's more and more. The only men that's left is old men and the pastors in the leadership position. It's
That's
like
true.
it's rough to see. And you're right. They're running to Islam. They're running to what did you say? The
Hebrew Israelites.
Hebrew Israelites, right?
Yeah.
It's sad to see because there's a vacuum there and they do not care. And I'm like, why do you think Republicans and conservative black men are starting to switch over? It's not just like, I think I'm going to be a Republican today, or I think I'm going to be a conservative, or I think I'm just not going to be with the Democrats no more. There is an opportunity in vacuum. And the worst part that let me know they were not interested in caring about actually getting those men back is because when they ignored men all the way up until 2 months before the end of the election in 2024. And remember, the whole time leading up to it, they were telling the men to shut up and get in line and just vote for support. And then you're anti-black, or was she ain't even a black woman. You're anti this Indian woman. You're anti her because she's a woman. You're anti this, anti that. And it was like, hey, if we got legitimate issues that we think is skewing why things are so bad, and that there's actual incentives in this society that's increasing why women that are problematic are able to get away with things in the legal system the way that they do. Are you going to run and address any of these issues, or they just said shut up and if you love your mother, you'll vote for her? That was it. And I was like, you know what, y'all going to deserve. And I said it for months. Y'all don't care about actual men or healthy masculinity. You just want the version of men that submit to the women and what they want in this party. That's it.
Yeah.
And the pastors that keep these women in the churches don't ever challenge these women on nothing. The only thing they challenge them on is what they put in the tithe and offering.
That Jamal Bryant and his wife's dress. Okay. Now I'm sure you've seen it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Now, what I like to do is I like to go through the comment section under certain things, because that's going to tell you the pulse. It'll give you the pulse of the everyday American or the everyday person, you know? So the man, and I did a video about this. It went viral. Marcus Rogers like reposted me and everything. It was really cool. And this man, Jamal Bryant, gets up on his stage at his church talking about, oh, you know, y'all are talking about it, but I bought the dress and da 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 da. Every woman in the comments talking about, and that's how a husband should support his wife. And why are y'all worried about their marriage? And she wasn't even at church, so y'all doing too much. And I'm like, see, this is it right here. This is it right here. This is, oh, wait a minute. My church is 80% female. Black women are making a bunch of money now. They're not having as many kids. The ones that are more successful are not having as many kids. So they have all this expendable money. They don't have husbands. They need to be affirmed. If I affirm them, I keep that money coming in. And that's all they care about. So again, that's the idol that these people have created. And it saddens me. And I pray for them truly, because people don't understand when I say, you know, when Jesus said, many will come to me in those final days saying, Lord, Lord, have I not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done good works? And I will say to them, yea, but I never knew you. Depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. When he's speaking, I'm having goosebumps, because when he's speaking, he's talking about people who think they're saved. He's talking about people who are in the church. He's talking about leaders of the church, people that know how to use his name to cast out devils and things of that nature. So when these false preachers, and later on in that same book, he says, you know, whoa, people love to use the quote. They love to use the, if your eye causes you to stumble, cast it out or pluck it out. They ignore the part above it, 2 verses before it, that says, but woe to anyone that causes their fellow brother to stumble, right? Woe to any person. So if you know that your wife's dress is going to cause many men to stumble, you indeed are the false teacher. You are the problem.
Oh, snap.
And it's so upsetting to me, because then you're watching this woman, mind you, that woman is 60 years old. I looked this up the other day.
She's 60.
She is 60. this whole time I was giving her
Listen,
all this grace. I said, clearly she's someone in her 30s and she got with this, rich man, and he fed her this line about how, you're my wife and I'm in Christ, so you're in Christ, and your whole job is just to, do whatever I need you to do, and it's fine, and God loves you because of that. I thought that all of this was just her following some older man that was leading her astray. She is older than him.
I
He's
had no
57.
idea that she was 60 years old dressing like
She's
that.
60 years old. When's the last time you saw your grandmother or your mother? Because we're older now. When's the last time you saw your mother in lingerie? Because that's really what happened there. Like that's
Well, I
what we
wouldn't claim
all.
him no more. I wouldn't claim him no more. That's what's gonna start with me. We're at this point, man, and you're so right that what's wild is he was a pastor and everybody around him condoned it and acted like it was fine, like they were at a
Yep.
Jeezy concert, right?
Yep.
And the last question, because you kind of brought it up, what is it about the sisterhood, for why it is that women can't be honest about each other about this type of stuff? What is the sisterhood in your mind from the secular lens?
I don't know at this point, to be honest, because I am not a girl's girl at all, and I'm okay with that. Like I
They
do
said
not.
you a pick me up in here. That's
Apparently, and that's fine, because every time you're in my comments, someone wants to pick me. You can go through my DMs and see you're the man you want would like to pick me. He's asking me to teach you how to not be a hot mess, and y'all would rather
chat. This is this, like, for
I'm
me.
being so honest right now.
I've really been studying and looking at the social behaviors, societally, when it comes to ladies and how they operate. And I think they function so much on consensus and not wanting to be pushed to the outside of groups that
Yeah.
even very destructive, harmful, toxic things, especially publicly, they won't say out loud if it's another woman involved, even if they know she's in the wrong. And I'm like, I don't understand why our loyalty as a group, and especially ladies amongst themselves, is so rooted in everything that's bad and wrong. Why y'all loyal when y'all doing something wrong? When somebody dressing crazy, moving crazy, like y'all stood behind and said congratulations and cheered Cardi B getting knocked up by another man while he had other women knocked up simultaneously, bro. And this is the worst part. The same women that'll cheer these women on won't be there on the other side of the consequences of those choices. That's the worst part that I hate, is that y'all keep encouraging women to go ahead and get the bag, sis. Yeah, but when she had to get that black eye to get it, then what? When she's putting herself in unsafe situations, then what? When she's going off to do strange things in strange places like Dubai with billionaires, then what? Y'all don't actually care about these ladies because you want to just lie to them for the sake of just being liked and accepted. I'm like, this is sick to me. This is sick. And I appreciate you and many of the other ladies that's working in this space for sure. And I gotta say, like Carmen JC, you, Maggie Taylor Chandler, there's so many women, Anita from the Better Love movement. There's a lot of women, especially Black women, that's now really pushing Crimson Cure. Of course, Dee Dee reacts. Like I'm seeing so many more ladies jumping into this space and being bold. And I got to give you credit, because I've been doing this for 14 months, and the amount of times I've been called every racial epithet you could imagine: house slave, coon, sellout, bootlicker, you name it. I'm getting bored because I'm looking for some new material. I want to,
right.
And it's dope to see that there's women who have the courage to kind of stand up to this and say right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm not going to be loyal to a party. I'm going to be loyal to my faith and my morality and what I genuinely believe is the truth. And I got to say that you're one of the people who's I think doing it and coming at it from the right reasons. It isn't like there's definitely people in the space, and you mentioned it. There's some that be hitting the Black community or women or men so hard that where I'd be like, it sounds like you hate this group.
Yeah.
and I've never, and out of all the times you've commented on this stuff, I've never got that sense from you. So I appreciate that you walk that line of holding accountability there, but also trying to do it in a way with love. And I really appreciate you coming on today and being introduced to my audience.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm super. First of all, props to you for the platform that you built and just your ability to find the voices that people need to hear from and offer this platform for people to be able to speak to a new audience. It's really amazing. And I just would say that my ability to speak to people and it comes from God, just understanding that, you know, Christ, we're supposed to be like Christ. So even though he told the truth, even though he never varied or wavered on the truth, he did so with the purpose and the hope of converting someone, of winning a soul. So when and this is something I'm saying right now because I want other content creators to really understand this. My goal as someone on the right is not to just make fun of people on the left. It's not just to hurt feelings. It's not just to antagonize. I genuinely want to open eyes. I want people to, you know, think more deeply. My hope is just to make people think again. And we are not going to win.
Oh.
We're not, and we're not going to win this, in my opinion, honestly, what is a battle for the Black community at this point. We're not going to win it if we're constantly putting others down, right? So there's a side that, you know, there's the more like super machismo guys like the Andrew Tates and, you know, the what was his name? Kevin Samuels of the world. And it's like, what they're saying might not be wrong, but it's their delivery that absolutely sucks.
I've learned the hard way. Delivery don't mean a damn thing in this space, because the things that people have said, the things people have tried to do and actually done, it didn't matter the delivery. The people who push the delivery card the most don't actually care about the truth. They don't. Because what they would actually say is, you know what, you're right. I wish you could have said it better, but you're telling the truth. They don't. They always start with, it's the tone, it's the tone, it's the tone. And then when the tone is altered, it turns out it wasn't the tone. More often than not, because they've elevated emotions above the truth and whether or not they will accept something as a fact. And I've unfortunately learned that this is why you can talk all day about politics and point out blatant hypocrisies. You ain't screaming and hollering and cussing people out. And what they call you, coon, sell out, and everything else. It ain't the tone. We got to stop falling for the okie doke. These people do not give a damn about tone. That's the one thing I've learned after 14 months of doing this. So I really, really appreciate you like covering all this stuff. Just real quick before I let you go, as eyeball, make sure I got it. With the Hebrew Israelites. We're not gonna get into the theology. One day I may invite her and some of the other ladies on for a panel discussion, conservative ladies. And I'm already thinking about that. And what I would title it. And listen, if you reach out to Carmen, JC, and some of the other ladies that you've been on platforms with, I would love to do a hosting with all of y'all to kind of come through and do one of these and kind of throw some stuff out there and see how you all honestly think about your journey of navigating the space. King, appreciate you, brother, for the $4.99, man. Thank you for tapping in, man. Lil, again, hey, another $50 banger for y'all in the chat that's being dishonest, right? The KJV, what is the description of Christ? Just comment under the post, please. Let's see how honest we are.
Here they go. They go.
The theology debate. You know what you just
Again,
started. You just started
instantly going into stuff. Let me tell you something, my friend. Let me tell you something right now. There will not be a blacks only portion of heaven. There will not be a whites only portion of heaven. Okay, get that out of your mind. And it's only people like yourself who truly do not have the Spirit of God, because when you have the Holy Spirit, you can see the Holy Spirit in everyone else. And I promise and guarantee you, there are more Holy Spirit filled and led Black, white, Latino, Asian people in the world than there are any Hebrew Israelite can possibly claim to be. Okay, because the moment that you see Christ and you feel him in your spirit, you will push aside all of this race and you will focus on the love of Christ. And that's what he came to promote, not skin tone.
And last two, DeMarco, appreciate you, brother, for the $5. It's a great show, y'all. I don't know how easy it is to arrange, but I love to see you speak with Christian rapper D1. Yeah, man, he's a good brother. I would love to be able to work with him. So y'all in the chat, y'all, I told y'all this all the time. I just started this a year ago. I don't have all these connections that y'all think I got. I'm not famous. I just started. I am not famous. I ain't got these people on speed dial. A lot of these people's emails are not up there. So if y'all get in their comments, if y'all get in their DMs, let them know I'm interested and would love to sit down with nearly almost everybody, but maybe one or two people. I ain't gonna sit down with them. But other than that, I'm pretty much open to meeting with anybody and everybody. And last but not least, Unity Strength is Strength. Thank you again for the $5. I thought she was a chameleon at first, but once she said her new church is convinced, she's genuine. African Orthodox Church. Earth is round, though. Hey, okay. I'm assuming that's in relation to a flat Earth discussion. And when I have a
That's a
conspiracy
video
theory,
that I have on my page about flat Earth.
listen, when I have a listen on this channel, we do conspiracy theories as well. I'm gonna do a conspiracy theory panel, and I now
Call
officially
me up.
know.
Okay, call me up. I
Listen,
will
you
come in
made
with my foil, my tin foil, and I'll give you. Listen, Bible. I can
all
listen.
conspiracy theories is on the table, and everything, moon landing, all of it, all of it. Who
That didn't
really shot
happen.
Kennedy? The
Just
whole nine. Ooh, yeah. And listen, we cover that a little bit in our movie book club on Mondays. So feel free to come through if you want to check it out for sure. And then last but not least, man, y'all are showing love on this surprise interview again. Lil 24, appreciate you, $50. Nobody said that, ma'am. I was asking Buddy a question since he said he wasn't any black people in heaven. Oh, somebody said there's no black people in heaven. Oh, I didn't
all
see
right.
you.
Then I apologize. Then you were
Hey,
right
and
to
he said
correct
you're
that
still beautiful,
person.
great interview. Listen, man, if y'all want to keep arguing in the chat and paying that money, feel free to keep doing
Hey,
so.
let them keep going. If they're gonna pay you for it, that's fantastic.
Hey, so listen, man. Thank you genuinely for giving me a shot with my platform. You know, it's very, very new, and it's been cool to see those of you who are doing this before me, you know, giving my channel an opportunity just to come through. And I'm gonna ask you in front of everybody, because you know there's a big talking point right now and in the social media space that I'm paying everybody to come on. How much did I pay you to come through?
Nothing. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm seeing with the numbers, I'm like, should I have negotiated something before?
I promise you, this does not happen every interview. I think you being on the screen is changing this right now, because these people do not be dropping these bills like this.
Well, shoot.
Listen,
Well, you said
sometimes
you
it looks like
promised
$5, $10, $20. The amount, this looks like well over $200. I'm gonna have to send you a love offering. And you know what?
I
If y'all
received.
hold on, if y'all watching right now, if you want her to continue to come through and y'all want some of these super chats to go towards her, put a 1 in the chat just to let me know so I can plan this ahead of time. But yeah, absolutely, you are more than welcome. You, Carmen, all the ladies who are doing exactly what you're doing. Again, if you want to reach out to them and see if they're open to it, just let me know and we can, you know, talk behind the scenes. But why don't you let everybody know where they can find you, how they can support you?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, thank you all for watching and sticking with us this long. It's been a really awesome conversation. My name is Marien. My everything is hashtag Marien. So spell out the word hashtag _ Marien. Instagram. I actually honestly only have Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. On Facebook, it's MARI space EN. So connect with me, follow. I am gonna get better at doing YouTube. I'm gonna put up a video tonight about feminism.
We got you. I got you. Like I told you, we're gonna come up with a plan, because your
Yeah.
Instagram is crazy. It's like clockwork, and I'm like, I gotta get on her type of time. And hopefully once we get these clips together and people start seeing me in your algorithm, people know I exist. Because I'm like, a lot of y'all are like Instagram famous right now, and I'm like, this is
It's
crazy.
so crazy.
Yeah. So again, thank you for coming through. Everybody, please make sure that you support this woman. She walks with integrity, both in the camera and behind the camera as well. Thank you for all that you do, and keep pushing. Genuinely, keep pushing the truth.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Sure. So I'm gonna close things out, and then I'm gonna touch base with you later. All right. All right. So listen, y'all, that was dope. There was a lot of engagement in the chat. So all I'm going to do is just say, hey, thanks everybody that tuned in. Thanks for everybody that tuned in to all the stuff we put out this week, from the men's table to the 3 different interviews I did this week. If you have not checked out the Ugly Money or the Liam Out Loud interviews this week, please make sure that you do. Hype them up. Hype this one up if you can. I know we only get 3 hypes. I know y'all can't use them all just on me, but I'm going to tell y'all right now, I got a surprise actor next week. It's officially confirmed. It is happening next week, and I will let y'all know what day, but I will not let you know who it is on Monday. I will let y'all know. I believe it's either Wednesday or Thursday, but once I double and triple check, I'll let y'all know what day and time. And it's somebody that many of you have heard of and seen. And then hopefully the following week, I may have a potential lawyer that many of you in this space, especially in the manosphere, has heard and knew of and knows very much about this brother as well. So listen, y'all, stay tuned. Thanks everybody for everything. So I'm just going to close things out with playing a video from my sponsor, Dusable Botanical Farms, for the healthy alternative products to help men in the bedroom when it comes to bedroom performance and testosterone levels. I say it once and I say it again, men. Do not send me video evidence that this product is working in the bedroom. You better send me a written description and say, hey, Jeff, it works. Y'all can do that. But under no circumstances do y'all send me anything else. But make sure that you use Ask a Brother 10 for 10% off your next purchase for sure. And thanks again to Sable Botanical Farms. And after this, I'm going to close things out. So again, thank you, everybody, all of the people from the 49,000 subscribers that we've built up over the last 14 months. Guys, we are super close to 50,000. I'm going to be working on some stuff over the next few weeks so I can hopefully make an announcement at the very top of April in terms of some major announcements and a tour that I'm hoping to kind of schedule and start. So stay tuned for that. But genuinely, thank you. So again, shout out to everybody that liked this, that watched this, that shared this with others. But last but not least, thank you to everybody that added to the super chat. Y'all showed a lot of love today. And I'm like, and if y'all want this woman and many other men and women that's like them to come on this platform, these super chats going to be able to help me to actually pay a lot of people to do these panels. Because again, the panels is really where you got to spend the money, especially when you want people to come once or twice a month. You can't just get 3, 4, 5 people to constantly come. Especially if they're really big content creators that have a legitimate platform, because they could be doing other things. So my platform is still new. And if I continue to get super chats like this, I'm going to invite Marien and a whole bunch of other people that y'all want. Make recommendations on if you want us to do a political discussion, a discussion about the church, a discussion about conspiracy theories, you name it. Once we come up with the name for those panels, we designate the key people that we think will be really good conversationalists. I'm going to shoot it out there and see what people are willing to do it and how I can compensate them. So these super chats absolutely can help. So thank you guys, genuinely everybody. So listen, thanks again to both my sponsors for today's episode and for everybody that's shown love. So last but not least, if you are not a member of this channel and you want to show love and support, you ain't got to do super chats. You ain't got to do no special donations. To be a member of Ask a Brother Podcast, all you need to spend is $2.99 per month to become a member. So if you are not a member, feel free to become one. If you want to even give the extra amount, feel free to become the tiered higher. As far as the membership, but actual membership is only $2.99. And shout out and thank you to everybody, genuinely, the lovers, the haters, the secret watchers, the people who show love and support. Because I think we hit about 27,000 with the Ugly Money interview. And I have a feeling, man, if we keep getting guests like this, I won't be shocked at what this channel is going to be another year from now. So this has been a dream of mine, and it hasn't been easy, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm trying to walk that fine line between maintaining respect for myself, sticking up for myself, and also being respectful and honest and straightforward about what I think and feel about most things. There's always certain instances and situations where you kind of have to walk that fine line. But I've learned, especially in light of having a couple conversations with particular individuals in this space, even today, that I just got to continue to keep grinding and walk with integrity. And those that want to align with you and those that want to connect with you, even if we have problems, those that want to resolve it will, and those that won't. And I'm at peace with that. And I've had to make that decision long before those type of decisions long before I got into this space. And the moment I finally decided I'm going to stand on what I believe in, I was comfortable if that meant being alone. And I thank everybody who's been on this journey with supporting me as I, do the scariest thing in the world, is be honest in the space where we often get canceled for doing so. So thank you all for supporting this this channel, what we're turning into. And like I said, y'all, I'm aiming for panels. So if you know particular people who would definitely show up for the panel, are great at conversations, don't overtalk people, aren't trashy, aren't messy, but interested in having good faith conversations, even if we disagree, whether it's about religion, whether it's about politics, whether it's about racial issues, you name it, conspiracy theories, whatever it is. If you think they would be really good, I'm going to ask you to CC them in an email if you've already confirmed with them, or give them this email, askabrotherpodcast@gmail.com, and just state that they're interested in joining the panel and state what particular topics they would be comfortable with and what their social media platform is, so that we have time to review and see and mix and match to see if they would be a good fit. So thanks everybody that posted the ones, the comments, the super chats. Thank you. I know this was another surprise interview. I'm getting the habit. I like the surprise interviews better than just announcing things in advance, because y'all don't never know week in and week out who's coming. So there's a strong possibility that I may have an actor, multiple collabs lined up next week, and the grind continues. So listen, y'all, enjoy your weekend. Have a good evening. I will be announcing pretty soon that I will be appearing on the Kingmakers platform on Sunday. And then I'm going to hit the ground running, getting our stuff back up and running on Monday as we speak. So thank you for the love. Thank you for the genuine support. And listen, y'all, the grind doesn't end. There's still much to do. So thank you. See y'all on the other side. Take care and see y'all next.